Hello, this video will tell you how to edit a form in Project. Add a new project and name it. A project contains module and form. Right-click on Web Operation module. I can add or import module. Right-click on Forms. I can add form or HTML form. Later, I will add a form and an HTML form, respectively. I add a form first. I name it as my form. Add an HTML form. I name it as my HTML form. I can select a local HTML file. So here I need to select the path. Disk F, for example. All HTML files under this path will be displayed here. And click to select it. If I want to get an HTML file from web, I need to input URL here. The difference between form and HTML form is, if I use HTML form, I can use interface designed by myself to beautify the interface. For the form I added, right-click on it, I can add function. A function means to combine some related actions with the form to execute a task. Name the function. I can add more than one function in the form. In function action settings, I can set parameters. When other functions want to use this function, they must provide and transfer the parameters I set to this function. Here I can set the return value of the function. Right-click on Forms. I can manage variables in Forms. I can manage global variables for all forms. I can also manage global variables in specified form, or manage local variables of specified function. I can manage lock here. Lock refers to the lock added in function. I will talk more about lock in another video. In this video, I will talk about how to edit a form. There are two ways. The first one is to select the form, find Edit, and find Edit Form in it. The second one is right-click on the form and click Edit. On the left, these are the controls that may be used. The form where I will do operations is in the middle. In the lower right corner, there are the events corresponding to the selected form or function. An event means to execute the function under a certain condition on a selected control or a form that is being edited. For example, when I want to open another form when the form is closing, I need to select a function. The action in this function is set to open another form, but I will talk about this in new videos. At the top right, these are the corresponding attributes of selected form or control. I can browse attributes by category or in alphabetical order. I can drag to add a control to the form. I can also click the control and click here again in the form to add a control. When I select a control, but if I don't want to add it, click Pointer to cancel. Select the control, I can drag it to anywhere I want, and also adjust the size. I can use direction keys on the keyboard to move it. If I want to delete this control, I just need to hit Delete key on the keyboard. Next, I will talk about some commonly used attributes. Click the form. I can see attribute settings here on the right. The commonly used attribute is icon. It's to set the icon of the form. Click it. I select an image in icon format, and the icon will be here. Change true into false both in maximize box and minimize box. I can hide maximize and minimize boxes here. If I want to fix the size of the form, I just need to set the size with length and height separated by a comma. Save the settings. Right-click on the form and click Debug. Now I can change the size of the form. Close the form and get back to controls. The next control is button. A commonly used attribute is text. I have changed the text on it. I can change the font. Select a font style and size. Here it changed. I can change the fore color and back color. Another commonly used attribute is enabled, whether the control is enabled or not. I change true into false. Change the color and save the settings. Debug my form, and I find I can't click on this button. For checked list box, combo box, and list box, there is a common attribute, items. Combo box, for example. Find items here. Here I can add strings with one string per line and line feeds as separators. Save settings and debug it. For the attribute in checked list box, I can still edit it in the same way. Next one, I will talk about picture box. A commonly used attribute for it is image. This image, for example, and the image will be displayed here. Text box, single line entry is default. If I want multi-line entry, I need to change false into true. Now I can input multiple lines. Next control is panel. I can drag the controls into it for a better management. I can move it like this. I can also drag multiple controls into it. The next one, web browser. I can nest the web page in the form. I just need to input the URL here. I save the settings and debug it. The web page will be downloaded here. The next one is Data Grid View. It's a control to display data. After I bind data to it through actions in database operation, it can display the data. That's all for editing forms. Next, I will talk about editing an HTML form. Although web page is nested in the form can still be edited. Event corresponding to the form is in the lower right corner, and attributes at the top right. Switch to HTML setting. This is the HTML form I added in the beginning. Click Select Control. I select a control. Here I can modify and remove the selected attribute. Remember to save the changes. These are the events corresponding to the selected control. Click here. I can add an event. Click here. I can select a function. Switch to HTML code. I can view HTML code. Switch to HTML controls. It can analyze elements with ID attribute in the HTML form. That's all for editing a form. Thank you.